Hi, and welcome to Divinely Empowered with Antonia, Codrina edition. So today, Codrina is going to be interviewing me and asking me some interesting questions about the origins of all my magic and divine empowerment. This is not rehearsed. She just asked if I wanted to hear the questions before, and I don't. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. And also, I promise to do a live trauma healing so you can enjoy having your traumas released. So, Codrina, you're going to be in charge. You're leading. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yes, I'm so happy I'm here with you. And I think we're going to start because a lot of people are asking me, our subscribers, our followers are asking me a lot of questions. So today I sat with myself and I tried to remember all the questions they put me about you. And I hope we're going to have a very interesting moment, an interesting hour together. Mm-hmm. So let's go for the first question. I just wanted a bit to
what does my name mean? What does my name mean? You might not know the answer to this one. My name. What is the meaning of my name? That's a fun one. I know, I'm asking myself a question now. Okay, what's really interesting, you don't know this one, I don't think. I worked out what my name means. So Harman is really interesting. It means, if you break down the sections of the word. So Ha, is in like Harry, like Ha as in Harry Krishna, which means God. Ha as in God, Harry Krishna. And then man is the suffix for manifest. And Antonia means priceless. So it means priceless God manifest. Alternatively, in Hebrew, Harman means horny. What can I tell you?
Wow, this is amazing. You don't know why. Because you don't know anything what I have prepared for today. So Ashtar, the energetic update from Ashtar was something like, this is the month we are entering in a new frequency and we're gonna have very rapid manifestations according to your name.
Yes. So maybe you're the divine empowerment. A few people are saying it's going to get really busy around August. I've had a couple of people come to me in the last couple of days saying we're going to get busy towards the middle of the summer. I don't know. I wonder what Ashtar thinks on that.
Yes, he said it's going to be a very hot summer. And from now on, we're entering in a new frequency, and most of us, people who have healed their traumas, they are going to enter in a new frequency with a very rapid manifestation and with new powers. So I don't know if it sounds very well, but I can say the divine empowerment, so the healers who worked, all of us who worked, a lot of you, and who have we all have worked a lot on our traumas. I think we're gonna this jump, because it is a jump in a new energy and in a new frequency.
You can't manifest. If you've got traumas, you can't manifest very well. It's not safe. The thing is, when you're traumatized, you're reactionary. And so what you can do is, manifesting is a very, very dangerous thing for people who are reactionary. So if you get scared of spiders or something like that, and you see a spider and you have a panic attack and you're like, spider! Like, a lot of people are very, very scared of spiders. What you could actually do, because maybe you're seeing the spider as like, the spiders are tiny. In England, the spiders are tiny. Maybe in Australia, they're a little bit more worrying. But in England, they're very small. But if you see this tiny spider as a huge spider, and you're really good at manifesting, you're going to make a huge spider. And that's very, very dangerous. So you have to make sure that you are in control of yourself. And if someone is mean to you in some capacity, and you sit there and you're like, I hate that person, and you get angry with them, you can really cause them harm, You could, make them have headaches or illnesses in some way, or, you could really send bad energy towards them and create a lot of karma. There's a lot of karma involved if you are not emotionally stable when they give you manifesting. It's like giving a baby a machine gun. It's not safe to give good manifesting to someone who is still got trauma and is still reactionary to situations, still gets rattled by, random people on the internet, like strangers through a screen, that sort of stuff. If you get really rattled by that sort of stuff, it's not clever to give you manifesting, because you might end up making them poorly, and then you've got the karma to take on from that. So only people who've cleared their traumas are suitable and allowed to manifest, because you don't give a baby a machine gun.
Wow, it's so good you are explaining all this, even for us who we know a lot of things, and of course we know a lot of things from you, but for me it was a surprise, because I really didn't know that you can do a lot of bad things to others if you are if you are manifesting from
Very
hate and from
and you can do it to yourself. Look, the thing is, look at my premise of disease. I have this theory of disease, that basically disease is caused by stuck emotions. We get fixated on thinking about some horrible thing. The easiest one is about not feeling supported, and not feeling supported gives you backache. It's about the compoundment of like not feeling supported, and those compounded thoughts going, just going from a gas going all around to a liquid. They're condensing and becoming a liquid. Now, people are causing diseases within themselves by their own traumas and them having not worked on their emotional stuff. It's already the abilities that normal people have of manifesting as manifesting physical diseases. Giving them any more abilities to manifest could mean that they end up with some super disease, which gets them in a few days or a few hours. You cannot give a baby a machine gun. It's already, their manifesting ability is already dangerous, and it's causing every single disease is manifested by their thoughts. That's the bottom line of disease. That's what causes it. So you give them a heightened ability of that. That's crazy. It's already too dangerous. There are already millions of people across the world, probably billions of people across the world are causing themselves illnesses through their own thinking. Any more? Can you imagine? Like, that's where we are at the moment. And, people, it's already crazy. That's what diseases are. They're manifestations of thoughts. So any more ability to manifest from your thoughts would cause worse diseases, faster diseases.
That's why Ashtar is telling me all the time, you have to work on yourselves, you have to heal your traumas, and only the ones who are working a lot on their selves gonna have special gifts, gonna do the jump. Not everyone.
Look, if people are still getting sick in any way, if people are still getting even coughs and colds and things like that, let alone any other physical ailment, they've not done the work, and they're going to struggle. Because, then they're going to get to the next stage, and they'll just manifest more and more things. You can't get sick if you're emotionally stable. You can't. If you're happy and you just don't get sick. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, there is also, there's an element of self-care, and don't run yourself ragged and, get very tired and things like that. But that's also just being, not really paying attention to what your body needs. But you shouldn't be getting sick at all. And if you do start, I actually... one of my advanced practitioners was saying something about having coughs and colds the other day, and I just came down on them, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? That's so dumb. It's just dumb. At our level, it's just dumb. And I'm quite strict with this all now, because basically, if we start coming down with a cough or a cold or something, then that is because we haven't done the work, and we haven't noticed and been self-aware enough at the point where you start to notice it and you start to come down with it. You can nip that in the bud in that moment, and then it just doesn't appear. Sometimes I get strange things just before a course, and that was literally because I need to go and learn something else. But it's only ever, it's always a puzzle, and it won't go by normal means. And then I have to go and develop some new style of healing, and so I have to go and do a trial by fire. That's the only time I'm ever vaguely sick, and then I suddenly find something, and then it just it just vanishes in seconds. It's just a tool to get me to learn things. Apart from that, I'm never ever sick and haven't been in 15 years. I don't get sick. I don't do sick. It's silly as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I know that, and I can tell you that since I am your healer, and I have worked a lot with my traumas, a lot of my health problems disappeared, a lot of them. So it is very important where you go to heal your traumas, because you can have only the idea that after very nice meditation, one of your traumas are gone, and it is not true. What do you have there?
I have a microphone that now my sound should be very crystal clear. I just was like, oh, I forgot to pull that down. Yes, certainly. Look, what the proof is in the pudding. How do you react in adversity? When you're in a situation where things don't go your way, which happens to all of us all the time, I mean, do you start screaming and shouting and having a tantrum, behaving like a meanie? Or do you, sometimes there are situations which annoy me and I get in a grump. I can be in a grump about things. And then I'm like, I'm in a grump. I run you the other day about being in a grump. And, there are things that sometimes make me grumpy, which is fine. And, but, it's not that I'm like screaming and shouting and being abusive and aggressive. That's just not something that I do. Like, me raising my voice is extremely, extremely rare. Like, you just don't have tantrums because you've dealt with your emotional stuff. It's just not something that enters into your realm at all. If you are still having like tantrums and things like that, then there's a lot to do, and you can see that what's unhealed. If you are having tantrums, that's unhealed wounds. There's nothing more to it than that.
What about if you don't have tantrums, but you have problems in your life, and but you are thinking all the time at your problems, and you are sad, and
you'll get yourself sick. We have to have some element of discipline, emotional bloody discipline. And I think discipline's solely lacking in the world at the moment. Lamenting and thinking poor me about some situation, I'm sorry, that will give you a disease. So you can be emotionally indulgent, enjoy yourself, mate, but you're going to make yourself sick. And fear causes, it's really interesting. I was just doing this thing on fear. I was watching this video earlier, which was on this piece of paper just here, a guy called Dr. Michael Nels, and he was talking to Tucker Carlson about what's going on with various different illnesses. And he discovered a number of years ago, German doctor, that the main reason for Alzheimer's, dun, da, 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 drum roll please, is fear. Now, what fear does is fear, it gives you the inability to produce new nerve cells by excess fear. Excess fear, so getting scared, stops your brain from functioning properly, and you don't produce new neurons for your brain. Now that means, so if you stop producing new neurons for a number of years, you're not producing new brain cells, and that gives you Alzheimer's because you don't have enough brain cells. So fear creates Alzheimer's. And then it was really interesting, this thing I was listening to, and he was talking about nerve cells not being produced in the hippocampus. And basically, when people have had this thing or have had the actual flu-like thing, this has actually prevented us from having any curiosity, psychological resilience, ability to think, brain fog, and it's designed to undermine our ability to think, which is really, really interesting. It's designed on purpose to stop us from thinking and from getting scared. And when you're scared, then you're going to be more of a pack mentality. Fear causes diseases, and now it's being linked to Alzheimer's, and now it's being linked to civil obedience, which will then create a dystopia. So it's very, very important that you go and do things that you're scared of. I think, even going and taking up a new hobby and doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, go and do things that you don't know how to do. Don't get stuck. Because if you get stuck and only do the same things, your world gets smaller because the world outside of you is getting larger. But if you're staying in your lane, you're going to make everything smaller, and that's extremely, extremely dangerous. It will be the root of diseases.
So the first thing we're gonna do, we have to enter into our fears. We have to know, first of all, what fears we have, and then then work with one of the healers who knows how to delete fears.
Yeah, you can do it in two ways. You can just be a very brave person. Like for example, I was skiing, and I like fell down and tumbled and got hurt. I've done this a few times. I've done this scuba diving, done this with skiing, and then I was skiing very badly. And if you're scared when you ski, you fall over. You cannot be scared when you ski. It's really, really dangerous if you're just really tentative because you're not doing it correctly and you're really wooden, and it's just dangerous. So I remember being at the top of the mountain and skiing really gingerly, and then I just thought, do you know what? Stop being a pussy. And I pep talk myself, just going, this is ridiculous. Grow up. You're a warrior. Let's get this done. And I just go, I refuse to do that. I refuse to be scared. I refuse not to, to be conquered by a fall. Screw that. So if you're very resilient and you just choose and make a different decision for yourself, you can get out of fear, but you have to be brave. You've got two choices. You've got bravery or you've got divine empowerment. Those are your two choices. You can do it by yourself, but if you're not resilient, you're going to struggle with that.
Yes, you're right, and I have to tell something. I want everybody to know. I had a problem in my life, and I told you, and of course I was afraid of something. Doesn't matter what, and you told me. I have worked on myself, and it was impossible. I was reaching at the point that I wasn't able to delete that fear. So I asked you, and you told me, okay, try to imagine the worst scenario in the world.
Yeah.
The worst, the
worst case scenario
in the world. Yes.
If you do that mental gymnastics, go on, continue.
And I did this, and I cried. You can't even know, with sounds, and I was so unhappy for a few minutes. And after this, my life has changed. So you have to be brave and to have the power to enter in your fears with full power, to say so, if I can say so. And to imagine the worst things, because usually when people are very afraid of something, they avoid thinking at the most unpleasant scenarios. They avoid because it is painful. It is painful.
Yeah, the only way out is through. The only way out is through. And doing a thought experiment. I mean, for example, maybe people are thinking to maybe leave their husband, for example, just as a thought experiment. Okay, so what happens if you do? Where are you going to live? What's going to happen? If you go through all the steps and the worst case scenario, and you actually visualize all the worst case things which would happen if that happened, and actually you get to the end and you're okay with that, compared to where you are now, what are you going to do? Maybe you're going to live in like a small flat rather than a big house, but maybe your husband's abusive. So do you think that living in a 2-bedroom flat rather than with your child, rather than in your house currently with an abusive husband, and you actually sit there and see yourself sitting on the sofa, but he's not there, and that feels much better to you, then you're going to have the courage to then make the move and leave an abusive relationship, but you have to work it through and work out how it's actually going to look, but do the worst case scenario. And literally it's not comfortable, but if you work through the worst case scenario, that's the worst case scenario, then everything else is up from there. So it's probably not going to land on the worst case scenario. That's an unlikely. If you're going worst case, it's unlikely it's going to get there. It's going to go somewhere between where you are and the worst case. It's going to go probably land somewhere in the middle. So if you can work through and decide that you're okay with the worst case, then what it actually ends up somewhere in the middle is going to be pleasant and easy. But people are not brave enough to actually even sit there and actually go through what it's going to look like in the worst case. Once you do that, you empower yourself. The problem with the people is they get stuck in the anxiety, and anxiety is just sitting there with it's got propulsion behind it, but it's not moving. You're putting the brakes on, which is why it's making you shake. You're not doing anything. If you actually just allow that propulsion, because the universe is giving you a kick up the ass, it's trying to make you move forward, and you're just staying there. And it's the propulsion against the stillness, which is making you shake and giving you anxiety. So just working through whatever the situation will alleviate your anxiety so much. It's a really easy way to be doing it, but you have to be brave. You just do a thought experiment by yourself and get some tears and allow yourself to snot and weep and wail. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, well, if that's the worst case, then I'm actually going to be okay. Because to be honest, we live in a very, very privileged world, and most of the worst case that we're ever going to get really isn't that big of a deal. You'll find another way. The universe is redirecting you to somewhere else. It'll always work out. It'll just change direction, and new things will emerge that you never imagined. It's always going to work out in your favor. I believe everything always works out in our favor.
Yes, right. And I can tell everybody that I was first your client before coming your healer, and it was amazing. It is another life, and it is a quality life. So I think it's worth trying to work with our fears and with our deep emotion.
Why don't we start by doing some of that now? We've talked about it. Let's do it. Okay. So we did promise that we were going to be doing a live trauma healing and give you an example of actually working through something. So I think that would be a good idea, that we actually start to work through a trauma with everybody now, and then you've got really an idea about what I do and what Codrina now does and what the Divine Empowerment team do. And then I think I need to tell the origin of it. So I think we'll do the healing, and then I'll tell you about how I came up with these crazy things. Then we'll get back to your question. Should we do it that way?
Yes, it's perfect. The only thing I want to ask you is to allow me to translate in Romanian a bit, but after you are telling them to think of something, I'm going to translate it also in Romanian.
Perfect. Let's do that. Okay. So for those who are listening in English, what we're going to do is we're going to dissolve a trauma. So pick a trauma, any trauma, and grade it from 1 to 10. Now make sure that it's not something which has happened a lot of times. Like maybe you had a fight with your father, for example. So think about one individual fight with your father as opposed to a lifetime of abuse from him. So pick one particular day, one particular scene, one particular place, and grade it from 1 to 10. And pick something which is harsh, something like a 7 or an 8 or a 9 or even a 10. Pick something heavy, and I will delete the emotional resonance in just a moment.
Ce vă roagă Antonia este să alegeți o traumă, dar nu ceva care să se întâmple zilnic, ceva care vă deranjează foarte tare. De exemplu, dacă aveți o problemă cu tatăl vostru, gândiți-vă la un anumit moment în care problema a fost cea mai puternică, cea mai neplăcută, și încercați să vedeți pe o scară de la 1 la 10 cât de intens este. Închideți ochii și vă uitați la acea traumă, da? Vă gândiți la acea traumă și noi o să ștergem acea traumă și o să vedeți cam la ce scară, cam la ce nivel o să ajungă după ce Antonia curăță trauma la care v-ați gândit. Ok.
Okay, we ready?
Yes.
The thing, if it's live, it's supposed to be live on Instagram. I was checking. Okay, fine. So it does say it in the top corner, so I'm sure it is. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so has everyone got something from 1 to 10? And what you're going to do is in a moment, just close your eyes and allow yourself to feel the emotions deeply. So if you need to cry, that's no problem. But if you can feel it, I can heal it. But you need to connect to the emotions. You need to really allow yourself to feel, just to feel what you need to feel. And I'm going to delete the emotional resonance. Now it's going to delete the emotional resonance, and it's not going to be numb. You won't be able to find the emotions afterwards, and you might think they're numb or that you just can't find them anymore. But be sure to find them now, and then the absence of them is what we're looking for.
Okay, let me translate a bit. Deci vă conectați și dar intrați în traumă, trebuie să simțiți. Nu se poate șterge ceea ce nu simțiți. Cu cât simțiți mai mult, cu atât ștergem mai mult. Și la sfârșit este posibil să nu vă mai puteți conecta sau să vă simțiți cumva anesteziați. Ăla este semnul că de fapt am șters acea traumă.
Okay. All right. So close your eyes, think of your trauma, and I'm going to delete the emotional resonance, and then we're going to check in. You want to say that in? Say that in Romanian?
Ok, I will say it in Romanian. Ok, încercați să închideți ochii, să vă conectați și Antonia deja începe să vă șteargă trauma.
Ok, close your eyes.
Închideți ochii.
Okay, let's do a check-in. Can people let us know in the comments what your number was out of 10 and what it is now, please? You want to say that in Romanian?
Yes, cine vorbește românește, vrem să vă spunem așa că așteptăm în comentariile voastre pe o scară de la 1 la 10 cât s-a redus, cât era la început și cât s-a redus. Și dacă cei care vorbiți engleză puteți scrie direct în engleză, vă mulțumesc foarte mult. Cei care nu, o să traduc. We have to wait a bit.
Yes.
I have asked them to the one who are speaking English to write in English if it's possible.
Ooh, Catherine Russ has gone from a 10 to a 2. Wow. That's amazing. If you'd like to share some information on it, you're very welcome. We can read it out. If you don't have to. About what the trauma was. Sometimes quite nice to know what was going on for people. Obviously, no obligation to do such a thing. Anyone else? 10 to a 2 is nice.
We're waiting for your answers.
We can go into how I discovered it for a second and we can go back again, can't we?
Yes.
Let's talk about, go on.
Tell us how are you healing traumas and how what happened when you start level 1?
Oh my goodness. Okay, now I've got some answers. Christina has gone from a 10 to a 4 or a 5, she said. Wow. And then Michelle is from a 7 to a 2. So that's nice. Cool.
Let me tell you, it is amazing. Christiana is one of my clients. And if she's telling you that from 10, now she is on a 4, this is amazing. I can tell you.
And this works for anyone who's watching this later at home. This works for the live and also later. Ooh, we've got a 10 to a 6 and a 10 to a 4. That's great. Nice. Okay, so I'll tell you my origin story. Okay. There are two main origin stories about how I got these different energies. So I knew I was going to be able to instantly dissolve emotional trauma. And everyone told me I was cuckoo. Cuckoo. So, and I was like, nah, instantly dissolving emotional trauma is totally normal. And my friends around the time were like, yeah, that's never going to happen. You're no. Anyway, so it started in the back of a taxi. A friend of mine called Amy had she lost her car keys and had a tantrum about it. She went absolutely loopy and she was screaming and shouting. And then she was just like, what am I going to do? I've lost my car keys. She was very irrational about it. And then she was like, she was in the car and she got really shut out. She was having a panic attack, I think. She got really, really, really upset about it. And then she said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I went, ooh. Because normally she's quite a stressy person. And actually, I would always try and break her stress by blowing raspberries on her tummy. That's what I would normally do, is blow raspberries on her tummy to break her out. She was like, no, I'm too stressed now. You can't do that. And then she continued to get stressed and then said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, oh, heart attack, that's a bit more serious than a raspberry on your tummy. Anyway, so then I was like, oh, maybe I was being a little insensitive just now. So I thought, what can I do? And I thought, okay, what do I do about this? And I went, right, I'm just gonna pick up her stress. And I said, can I just pick up your stress and just put it onto me? And she was like, yeah, do it. And I went, okay. So I invented it on the spot for her. Everything's it's like necessity. So I went, okay, and I put it onto me. And she went, I feel amazing. Started dancing in the car. I was like, driver. She was back of a cab, let the music up. She starts dancing in the car, and there's me shriveling like this. Tears start rolling down my face, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And she's like, yeah, party. She starts singing and dancing in the back of the cab. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? So I was just trying to process some of it for her. And I was like totally overwhelmed. And I was like, Amy, I'm not sure I can hold on to this for you. So I said, right, what can I do? And I said, right, if I give you back like, I don't know, a 3 out of 10, I've dissolved about a 3 and I'll hold on to the other 4. Are you all right to have a little bit of it back? And she was like, I feel incredible. She's just like, it was hilarious. And I was in this mess. And she goes, yeah, you can give me back a little bit. And then I gave it back. She said, yeah, I still feel great. She was having a great time in the back of the cab. So, and I was like, oh, I'll just hold on to this little bit of it. And I was like, I feel like pretty rubbish actually, mate. Anyway, so then I got home and I managed to dissipate the rest. And then her car keys that she'd looked for were in her frigging handbag. She never let me look in her handbag. They were in her handbag the whole bloody time. So, and she had a spare set at home, which is why I didn't think it was such a big idea. She had a spare set in her house, but she was getting really stressed about it. And she was having her car towed from there to her house. It wasn't like she was going to get a ticket or anything. It was being towed to her house. That's why I thought, why are you being so dramatic about this thing? Anyway, that's how I learned how that you can actually shift it, because emotion is energy. It's energy in motion. So, you always feel when someone's sad or angry or upset. And that's why I just thought, if I just do it and move it, that was the first time I started playing around with energy and emotion.
Wow.
And the second time, look, we've got some more comments here from Sabina from an 8 to a 5. We've got a 2, and then we've got from a 10 to a 3. Solar plexus is energized, for my body's lighter. All right, let's do a second round of that. And then I'm going to tell you my second story about how I actually developed the bigger razor. So that was my first one, which I realized that emotion was malleable and could be shifted and taken and moved about. That was the first one. All right. Then we'll do a second round. We'll tell my second story. That was a predicament. What if it's not a predicament? We'll get there in a second, sweet pea. I'm reading the comments. Okay, so why are you holding your breath? So answering some questions. When you do the holding one, I forget to breathe. Honestly, I wish I had some exciting answer to this. The answer is I forget to breathe. It's the most ridiculous thing. If I actually control my breath and actually remember to breathe, then I don't do it. It's a feature of Antonio forgetting to breathe. No one else does it. It's just, I'm also just like trying to put as much in as possible, but it's not really any breath work to amplify anything in any way. All right.
Everybody's asking you this all the time. People are asking you about your breath.
I sometimes mute the microphone because I'm aware that I do funny breathing. I literally forget to breathe. There is nothing more glamorous or exciting about it than my own stupidity, forgetting to breathe. Alrighty, let's go for round two. So everyone who's still got a little bit in their traumas, I know they're pretty low now. I know you're probably like, I think the highest one is now a 6 from a 10. That's great. That's fine. All right. So if you've still got something around or over a 5, then do the same one. If you're already down to like a 2 or a 3, I suggest you pick another trauma. Also, if you've got more traumas because you're a human being, rewatch this video and you can do a whole host of traumas just by rewatching this video. So just fast forward it to this bit if you want, and then you can clear your traumas and just keep doing them until you've cleared loads more of your traumas, if that's what you'd like to do. Or come and learn it yourself. Obviously, there is, we can do more in a session, significantly bigger, badder stuff, but we're doing solo trauma events, which is the lovely little demo. All right, let's do the second round. Okay, I'm going to put my microphone off now.
Just a moment, I have to translate them. Deci începem runda a doua și ce vă rog, cei care au un 5-6 se gândesc la aceeași traumă. Cei care ați ajuns la un 2, alegeți o altă traumă. Puteți să puneți înregistrarea de câte ori vreți voi și să vă rezolvați foarte multe din traumele pe care le aveți. Și acum începem. Gata. Ok.
Are you ready? Let's go. All right. Round 2. How's that feeling, everybody? What's your numbers? You want to say that?
This was very, very, very powerful. Yes. Let's wait for the answers. Are you going to tell us the story? How do you prefer?
I'll tell another story. Ask your people to write the numbers down, please. I think in Romanian.
Îmi scrieți și mie la cât ați ajuns pe scara de la 1 la 10. Wow! It's, you see, Antonia, now it's 0 from 2 to 0.
8 to 3. Yeah. Okay. I will tell you my second story. My second story is me getting bored of my own bullshit. I get bored of my own bullshit. That's why I can do healing. I think a lot of it is getting bored of other people's bullshit too. I think I'm just bored of bullshit. I just think I don't like it. So when people are, okay, basically, there was a guy, there's always a guy. And I rather liked a guy. And we he was in the same sort of he was a top healer as well, and it's very unusual that you find guys who are into healing who are aligned with you and you can sort of build something with. Most unfortunately there aren't many like strong men within the healing community. They're too much in the feminine primarily, sadly. Anyway, I found a guy that I quite liked, and we went on a couple of dates, and we were like thinking about the future together, and it was really lovely. Anyway, he went on a work trip, and then ended up getting with this other girl. And then he messaged me and said, "Sorry, I found somebody else." At which point I got all sorry for myself. All that sort of stuff. And I was sitting there and feeling sorry for myself for several days when I got dumped, which is, I'm sure like everybody's done that. And I literally got bored of my own bullshit. And I was like, I'm kind of sick of this. And I was like, I'm just going to see if I can just delete this because I'm so over sitting here and feeling sorry for myself about being dumped. So I was like, right, delete this trauma, delete this heartbreak. And I was sat there and I just ran energy and I deleted, and I ran it for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour. And suddenly I didn't give a shit about it anymore. And I never see invention of the big eraser. It was literally heartbreak and boredom of my own heartbreak. So then I was like, oh, this is quite useful. So then I started using it on different people, teaching different people how to be able to do it. And then the big eraser was born to be working on to be working on emotional trauma. So and the thing is, what's really cool about the big eraser is if people connect to the emotions, it works first time and every time. As long as someone can connect to it, it works every single time I've ever done it. And that's at least 15 years. At least 15 years. I've done it thousands of times. Tens of thousands of times. I don't know, possibly hundreds of thousands of times with everyone else who does it, but certainly personally tens of thousands of times on hundreds of thousands of people for sure. I've done big crowds and things like that, and it works every single time. If you can feel it, I can heal it. You just have to connect to your emotions. If you can't connect to your emotions, or you're blocked, or you think it's a load of crap, it's not going to work. You can just decide that I don't want anything to do with that this is just rubbish, or you're not ready to let go of it. Then you can block it. But if you're open to it and allow yourself to feel the emotions, it works every single time. And you can, every single time in any state, half asleep, drunk, it doesn't matter. It just works. It's frigging faultless.
Could you tell us more? I want to push you a bit. Tell us more about the mechanism, about what is this big erasure, how this idea came. Just a bit, not everything. But
just that. I was like, I need to erase this heartbreak. And I was like, look, emotion is energy. Look at it. Emotion, energy, and motion. When you hang around somebody sad or angry, upset, you can feel it in seconds. Empathy, people have basic empathy. You know, when you're around someone sad, that it just pulls you down. You know, when you're around somebody who's anxious, it makes you anxious. You know, when you're around someone who's happy, it makes you happy, right? People have that. And emotion it follows people around like a gas. You walk into a room and people have just had a fight. You can feel it. Everybody can feel that. So I've taken it to the next stage where I've learned how to just dissipate it. So instead of that energy being stuck, I just breathe air into it and erase it. I literally just erase that stagnation of energy and then it dissipates. But there is a past life thing as well. Apparently, this is what Spring was telling me, that I lived in my current house in a past life, and then my daughter was murdered. And I came home and I found my daughter murdered on the floor and got very upset about it, understandably. And I never recovered from it. And then I ended up committing suicide. But I vowed as I was walking into the water to be able to learn how to help people heal their traumas, because it was so dark for me. So I've decided, you know, I apparently I made a pact in a past life that I learned how to dissolve emotional traumas. But it's just literally dissipating the stagnation. It's just taking empathy to the next level. It's just really strong empathy. And then it's just like, just dissolving it. It's dissolving the stuck emotions. That's kind of the mechanism.
So you are dissolving this emotion with the power of your mind. With you are not connected. You are not connected to something and doing. I want people to know that. I want people to know that you are more science based, not on. I don't know. Of course, of God.
It's spiritual technology. It's spiritual technology. Look, I come from the premise that we're gods and goddesses with amnesia, and we're asleep. I think we are completely blocked, and we are a smidge, a tiny fraction of what we're meant to be or what we could potentially be, and we have a huge amount of abilities that we haven't got a clue that we've got. I'm just extremely curious. Extremely curious. I'm just always listening to a podcast. I'm always consuming information about random different things to fill my brain. So I'm learning. It's you know, maybe in the evening I'll watch TV, but mostly I'm just educating myself in 1,000 different things to learn all these different things. And it's just, you know, and I pick up things from everywhere all the time. I'm listening to all sorts of variety of different things and learning and growing constantly. I'm eternally curious, and that improves things in your brain significantly. But it's just light technology. It's just, I mean, the thing is, what is thinking? What are all these different things? It's, you know, it's, and I'm just eternally curious, and I'm a puzzle solver. I'm literally solving puzzles. I have some situation which I'm like, I have no, you know, they say, what is this serenity prayer? You're supposed to, what was it? The wisdom to, like God help me to change things I can, and to accept the things I can't, and the knowledge to know the difference. I don't have that acceptance thing at all. It's just like, screw that. I'm not accepting something I don't like. I'm just going to change reality to fit my will. I'm like, yeah, that's rubbish. I don't believe a lot of the things. I don't believe in our limitations. I'm just like, let's try something new. Let's do something different. Like, you know, I figure things out. I'm good on my feet. I work out how to solve problems, because I'm just like, well, that's rubbish. Let's fix it. Let's work out a way to fix it.
Yes, I asked you because I wanted people to know how you work, and to know that you are more on science based, not on working. Of course, you're working energetically with energies, but for you, everything has to have a beginning from science. These people don't know.
I'm a massive
geek. We know you.
Oh yeah, I'm a massive geek. I'm always going into things. It's just spreading out. It's erasing the trauma, but it's just dissipating the gas. Emotion is gas, and it's dissipating the gas. You just spread it out. It's just, I erase it though. I mean, it's about changing forms. It's just neutralizing it. It's neutral. I mean, you know, Einstein talks about that you know, energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can only change from one form to another. So what I'm really doing is changing the texture, the feeling, the emotion of it. So I think that emotions are like flavors. So it's like an ice cream. And most people are quite good at detecting the difference between anger or sadness or grief and happiness and joy. So most people can actually take the empathy and know that. And I can very easily feel the difference between these sorts of things. But they are all ice cream. They are all emotions, but they just have different flavors to them. And I'm very attuned to that. I can feel it very easily. But most people who are watching this would be empathetic and also be good at this. The next stage is just changing its form. You're changing the form of anger into the form of neutrality. and just literally changing the flavor by it's almost like neutralizing it. It's almost like it's an acid and you're adding an alkaline and you're making it into something completely benign, something neutral. You're changing the pH of it so it has no charge to it whatsoever. There you go. I went a bit sciencey for you. I talked about Einstein and acid and alkaline. You want a science?
You never, yes, but you never told this. Nobody knows how you work. We know because
honestly, there's 1,000 different ways I work. Honestly, if you ask me tomorrow, I'll give you a different answer. I'm always coming up with something new.
Yes, but I wanted this answer. I really wanted this answer. I wanted the people to hear what you said today. It's important. I think it's important for them to know how we work on them.
It's just neutralizing.
It's very important.
It's putting the opposite on. It's just putting it's probably okay. There's another way. New answers are coming to my mind, which is why I didn't want to prepare this. Okay, think about the frequency scale. We are doing the acid and alkaline, but it's love. You're bringing love onto this thing, which is your anger, your frustration, your depression, whatever. And then I literally just cascade your emotion with love energy or a high frequency bliss, love, that sort of truth, integrity, and then it just completely neutralizes it because the love energy just dissipates the heavy, horrible energy. It's completely dissolved and gotten rid of by a higher frequency. It just cannot. Nothing. Love conquers all.
Yes, right.
So that's what it does. Yeah, it neutralizes. It's like an acid alkaline thing, but it's the love frequency which is conquering and completely dissipating the heavy emotion. I've never thought of it that way, but that's what it is.
It is a very good answer for the people who are good seers, and they are our clients. And when we are healing their traumas, they are closing their eyes, and then they are telling me, I'm seeing a lot of colors, and then only something light color and love and something amazing. So this is what we are doing. We are putting a lot of life, a lot of love and light.
Yeah, love and light. Yeah, I've never thought of it in those terms before, but that's why we're asking questions. I'll have lots of new answers. Yeah, okay, cool.
Another question. How did you get to have powers?
I spent a lot of my time lying in bed in a lot of pain. It sucked. Getting powers sucks. I started this in 2006. I started this in 2006. So it's nearly 20 years ago now, 18 years ago now, doing this sort of stuff. And I have literally been emerging from, as I said, I think we're gods and goddess of amnesia. And my system is a particularly, my mission, my vocation. I'm here to, awaken the people who want to be awakened to their true spirit and to their God frequencies. So but to do that, and I've been a pioneer that, when I first started doing all this sort of stuff, Reiki was really fringe, and anyone who was doing it was wearing tie-dye and a bit unusual. They were the sort of unwashed hippies of old. There was no one with there was no one sort of middle of the road who was doing it. They were the people who were on the extremes, and they're lovely people for sure, no doubt. But it was only those sorts of people who were doing that sort of work. It was no one who was more mainstream and I was just this like little bouncy 20-something-year-old TV presenter. And I looked so out of place when I first did the course because everyone was wearing cheesecloth and I was wearing like crop tops. It was hilarious. And I ended up doing a course, and I ended up just getting really good at it. And, doing that first course was really fun. And then I did the healing on Lucy, where I pulled the snake out of her ear, which meant that I'll tell the Lucy story, and then I'll tell more details in this. So the origin story for doing the healing was, I was doing this workshop. Someone came to my house and wiggled their fingers, and I went, "Have you got rid of a ghost?" And she said, "Yes." And I went, "Ooh, that's weird." And then she goes, if you're that psychic, you should go and do this course. So I went and did this course. And then I thought, this is just very, very odd. And this is utter tosh. But then I was feeling energy going around my body. I was very indoctrinated into the Western world of allopathic medicine. And I thought, this is a load of nonsense. So anyway, I was walking down the street with my friend Lucy, who I'm seeing this weekend. And she had burst her eardrum 5 times, been to the doctor, the specialist, and the surgeon, and they said it was £4,500 and 50% chance the surgery is going to work. They didn't know what was wrong with her, and she had a pain like she was being stabbed in the head at least twice a week. It was very bad. She was unable to fly a lot of the time because she was grounded because she was a stewardess, which meant she wasn't earning money. But they didn't think there was anything that they could do really to help her. They just thought, we're not going to be able to do it on the NHS. Because it's just not going to work. So they were going to do their best and open her up and see what they could do. But as I said, £4,500, and she was, in her 20s, and £4,500 is a lot of money at any point, especially in your 20s, and especially nearly 20 years ago. So she was getting the money together, because what the hell do you do? So I'm walking down the street with her in Notting Hill. She falls to her knees and starts screaming, going, help me, fix my ear, fix my ear. And I went, fix your ear? She goes, you're a healer now. And I was like, I've done a 5-day workshop. Not sure I'm a healer now. I'm not sure I believe in any of this stuff. This is what? She was like, just try. She was weeping and snotting and being very dramatic. And I was like, I don't really know what to do. She goes, just try. And she's very stoic. It's not her reaction to be very dramatic. She's stoic. Anyway, so I took her into the loo of a restaurant, put my hands in her ear and started channeling energy. To my surprise, it something looked like a snake came out of her ear. I'm feeding it out, and I can just see it in heat waves. And there's one which is about 6 to 8 inches long, and one was about 1.5 feet long and about that wide. It was like this big snake I pulled out of her ear, and I threw some energy at it. And that was in 2007, and she's never had earache since. She was able to resume it. She cancelled her surgery, and the surgery wouldn't have been able to do anything, because it was an energetic thing, it was an energetic parasite. And that was a miracle. And that changed the trajectory of my life. I was doing TV presenting and modeling. And then I was just like, that's really interesting. That's where I should be going with everything. And that was my origin story. And then I spent the next many, many years in trance state, awakening these latent abilities. Now, the pain in my body was extreme. So there's DOMS, and then there's DOMS on steroids. It's like delayed onset muscle soreness. So my ex used to be a professional Muay Thai boxing fighter. And what they do, so professional soccer player, professional football player in the UK, the training that they do with all the like dodging and running around and like all the kicking a ball and all of that, that is Muay Thai fighters warm up. And then they start to kick the living shit out of each other. That's what they do. And him living with me, considering the training was very, very extreme, him living with me, his body was more achy, more sore, more tired than when he was a professional athlete doing Muay Thai, which is arguably one of the hardest sports on the planet. And living with me and being in my presence, and he was still able to move. And I was like, mate, if you can move, you've got hardly any of what I had. I was unable to get out of bed for days, weeks, months. I would then have like severe body pain where I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. I wouldn't be able to lift my arm. It was absolute agony. If I wanted to go and feed myself, I literally had to roll out of bed, crawl along my corridor, shimmy down the stairs on my butt, crawl into the kitchen, put the kettle on and collapse. Months, years of this. And if I had some social engagement, like it was my mum's birthday, for example, I'd have all the energy in the world, would be absolutely fine to be able to do that and then get back. And then, which shows I didn't have some chronic tiredness disease, because that's not a luxury people with chronic fatigue syndrome or something like that are afforded. So I was able to do things if I needed to do them, but I wasn't able to do anything for years. I lost track of all my friends. I wasn't able to be around anyone. I wasn't able to have any relationships. I was I'm made into a hermit. I didn't have the strength to be able to keep up relationships or friendships or date or do anything like that, because I wouldn't leave the house for days, weeks, months at a time. COVID was easy for me because I'm used to not leaving the house for months at a time. I just wasn't able to, because this was awakening my energy system. There was a huge amount of sabotage, which was making it significantly worse. I was under a lot of attack, which was making it a lot worse, on top of the downloading. So I don't know how much of it was a downloading and how much of it was an attack. There was definitely a significant amount of attack in it as well. But I'm recalibrating and reawakening my entire energy system, which has been switched off, and everyone's energies have been switched off for thousands of years. So reawakening and removing all the blockages, getting all the gunk out of the system and awakening superpowers is really, really hard to do. For me, for anyone who's watching this who wants to learn, it's bloody easy. All you do is you can sit in your pajamas and watch videos and you get superpowers. I've done all the heavy lifting for you. By the way, if anyone is interested in level 1, we have a deal on at the moment, and the code is magic for level 1, and you get level 1. Normally it's 333, it's for £75, and you can get level 1 where you learn how to instantly dissolve emotional traumas. You learn how to change the taste of wine using magic. You do some chakra awakening. You learn lovely little energies like some instant pain relief. You learn what else is in level 1. There's various different things. There's a chakra meditation, which you can do a sort of a tantric one. You're learning how to do grounding and centering. There's 40 different energies which you learn in level 1, and it's your introduction to magic. And it's awakening you to your true nature. So you learn these abilities, and you don't have to use any process to do it. All you do is you have focused attention, and that is all you need to do.
Yes, it is amazing. Level 1, it is amazing. For me, it was amazing. But I want to ask you something. In that period when you were in bed and when your body was changing, did you have any idea what is happening to you? Or
because I was told very early on that instant healing of all diseases was normal. Couldn't tell anyone that because it looks like I've got a Christ complex. So I couldn't tell anyone that, and I couldn't do it. Now I can say that much more easily because I've got a track history of healing a lot of different diseases. Then I was just somebody who didn't have any abilities and sounded frigging delusional.
So you were aware that your body is changing, yes? You are aware that something, you're gonna be a healer in that period. You are not considering.
I just need to let everyone know who's watching on Instagram to please switch over to my YouTube channel, because we're about to switch off in just a few seconds. We've only got an hour on Instagram, so please go to Divine Empowerment Antonia Harmon on YouTube if you want to continue watching. We are still live on YouTube. So anyone Facebook, so move over to my Facebook or move over to my YouTube, because we are going to get cut off any second. See you there. Sorry, Codrina, I cut you off. Tell me again.
I was wondering if in that period when you were in bed and with big
I was told I was going to have an instant healing of all diseases, which looks crazy and sounds crazy. I was told that.
So
I was told that.
Okay. So you didn't believe that you are sick and something strange is happening to you, and you didn't understand why.
There was no fear. I wasn't scared of it. I was told I was doing this work. But the thing is, I'd be in a trance and I would be off my noodle as well. I was in a different dimension, just in a different place. Can't read, can't focus, it's not just the exhaustion. I was doolally in a different dimension. I was literally just somewhere else. So all I would do was sit there and just be in a trance. I remember there was one time I got so heavily into a trance. I remember there's a TV show called Neighbours, and Neighbours there was a 1:30 show and a 5:30 show. So I remember watching Neighbours and having this bowl of soup, and then I sort of was watching it, and I had this spoon of my soup, and I just came around and I was and I went like this because it was literally here, and I just went like that, and I was like, why is my soup cold? I've just seen this. And I'd literally been frozen in time for 4 hours in between the 2 episodes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was in a trance.
Wow. Yes, and I think people should know that before every level, you are not okay, and we are not okay. Thanks God for a short period of time. It was
years. It was at least 5 years of utter rubbish, and I didn't have but I knew it wasn't a disease. I was sort of blissed out and kind of happy and wasn't really worried about it. And I just always have this thing about the mission comes first. My mind is the mission comes first. Always. I find my comfort and my happiness irrelevant to the mission coming first. Because, and the thing is, I can slow it down. Like if I'd had relationships and things like that, it would have slowed everything down. And I don't think that's okay. Because, you know, I'm on the verge of, you know, I'm already healing a lot of diseases. The longer it takes, the more people die. So me having a relationship versus people dying, I don't think it's okay for me to have relationships. And also now I've reversed aged, I'm pulling things back. My happiness is irrelevant. The mission, I'm here on a mission to do something for the betterment of humanity. Regardless, that's what matters more than anything else. So a lot of people don't think in that way, but I am mission orientated, 100% mission orientated. So I haven't been able to have a family. I haven't been able to really have that many relationships because it slows me down. And that means people die. It's really serious and it's really heavy on me. And that's the most important thing. So that's what I do.
Yes, and what you are doing is amazing. Every level, it is more powerful, and I think it's mind blowing. Every level, but of course now, because we are quite a lot of people who are buying your levels and people who are your healers. I think it's easier to support. It's easier for us to with these pains, with these problems before
everyone's taking a piece of it, but you have to imagine that when I started this, it wasn't normal. We weren't coming into the 5D. We didn't have all these people. There are so many people nowadays doing all different modalities of amazing healing. There's loads of cool stuff out there. And there's a lot of people doing various different things. And so no one was when I started. It was literally only Reiki. And, you know, and Reiki's come a long way in that time as well. You know, that's all that there was. That there's a very, very few people, and it was very, very fringe. So now a lot more people are doing it, but certainly within divine empowerment, you know, people are sharing the heavy lifting, and that does help. But my system's significantly stronger, and we've gotten to the bottom of some of the attacks. A lot of my life force, probably about a third of my life force, was just siphoned off by Luciferian dickheads.
Yes. And I think you are telling this in public for the first time.
There's been a few Luciferian dickheads in my life.
Yes, we know, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. People are seeing, you know, your smile and how beautiful you are, but they don't know that you suffered a lot at every level, and every step means suffering and means body changings of the body who are very, very painful, and it is not pleasant at all.
No, I've suffered in every way imaginable from it. Yeah. And it's had to be this blind faith that I was going to get somewhere. You know, my family going, you know, wondering why I'm not earning a decent wage for many, many years. You know, why is it that I'm not working more? I don't know what they thought I was doing, but they, you know, they were like, why are you wasting your life? They didn't like what I was not capable of doing very much. I should have been, they wanted me to be getting into a corporate job and earning a proper wage. I wasn't doing that. I was, you know, not hardly earning any money for many, many years.
Yes, because you're not able. You couldn't do it.
I leave my bed for years, so I wasn't able to do anything. So now I've got a financial abundance, but I didn't for a very, very long time, you know. And it's easy to look at me now and think, wow, you know, I've got all these things going on, but I've suffered for nearly 20 years to get to the point which I'm at now.
Thank you for telling us this.
Yeah,
it's a part of your life, and it's not easy to say it and to accept it. So it's important people to know that there is also, it is not everything. It's not only love and light when you are a famous healer.
Yeah, when Of course it's not. Nothing, I mean, everything isn't always love and light, but I do think that I make it look easy. And then so people don't realize how difficult it's being to make things look easy. Like that, only really good experts can make things look easy. And I do think some people don't really appreciate or understand how difficult it's been to get to where I am. And then, you know, I can teach things so easily, and I'm quite flippant about things because it's just so matter of fact, but it's because I've done things tens of thousands of times, so it makes it easy to do it. But I think, you know, it can be quite easy to get complacent about how because it's so easy for people to learn. Yeah.
Yes, your courses are very, very easy to learn. Are something,
yeah,
for me,
which I think it might make it feel like it's easy to get. For me, it's not easy to get for me. I just translate it into something because I want to make it accessible to everyone. And if people had to suffer, they sure as hell wouldn't do it.
Yes, and they are very accessible. I have to look because I put down some question for you, but I think we touched a lot of subjects. You want to laugh?
A second, sorry. We've had someone say, More Leon, you've been in bed for 4 months. You need to figure out what you're in bed for, mate. I don't know what you're in bed for. I didn't have a chronic fatigue. If I had something to do, then I would be able to get up. So you may need to look at what's going on with your adrenals and why you're in bed. It's not necessarily the same thing. So being in bed for 4 months is not something which is normal or something which is good. I knew that I was on a mission, a heaven-sent mission. And I knew why I was in bed. So don't accept being in bed. You need to figure out what the hell's going on. It could be something to do with your small intestine. It could be your adrenals. It could be various different things. Your nervous system could be shot. There could be a variety of health concerns that you might need to get to the bottom of. Don't just accept being in bed for a long time. So Ed 2 is saying, so similar story we all have. Yeah, we've all bloody suffered. You might not have been in bed for years, though.
Yes.
Okay, what's the next question?
One of the question was, what is your physical and mental state before each class? How do you feel before each class? So this was one of the questions.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts less now than it used to. It hurts less now than it used to. But now we've got the added benefit of now it's because we're better known. Now we have to make it so that I don't even know. Everything's on a need to know basis, and I don't need to know. And now it seems to be mission security that even I don't know what the hell I'm going to be teaching until the day before class. So it's a scramble. It's mission safety. So basically, we have to make sure that the dark side don't know what I'm about to be teaching. And so, you know, and if I talked, a lot of the stuff that we're doing is slaying demons and working with these high, you know, these dark energies. And if I start talking about it to my confidants and you don't have the ability to do it and the dark side get wind of it, you guys are going to get attacked. It makes it quite dangerous for you guys. So to know it without, because if they get wind of what's going on, then they're going to come for you before you get the weapons, but because you're about to do the class. So it puts you guys in danger. So on particular levels like that, when we're getting new weapons to fight the nefarious forces, then in those situations, I don't know anything about it. And literally the day before, which is just ridiculous because I'm like, I don't know anything. And I've come to surrender it. You know, I used to try and write them 2 weeks in advance and I just throw them in the bin. So I write notes all the way through and I have ideas and half of it ends up going. And then I literally, everything comes together and people are like, what's going on in the class? I'm like, I don't know. Anyone who's been with me for a long time just doesn't even bother asking me. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We know, and during the class, all the techniques, so everything is coming during the class. And sometimes, like it was level 14, it was in the it wasn't from the first day. From the second day, we discovered a lot of things, and you've changed a lot of things, and it is amazing. It is an amazing journey.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's really fun about it is an alive lineage. That's rare. There's not many alive lineages. I'm literally making it up as I go along, which means that my top level students have input. And, you know, they come up with, I've got amazing seers when we teach live. I've got wonderful seers who are noticing things that I don't know. And we're adding their wisdom and their sight and their insights into the class. So it becomes a bit more collective, and it's actually a bit more of a sort of a community thing in that way, which is really fun when people get to really be involved in making new magic.
Yes, we're like a big family.
No.
Yes. Another question. What are your goals regarding healing for the next period?
Instantly healing all diseases. It's always been the same goal. Just that little teeny weeny thing.
Cancer, something?
All diseases. Instantly healing all diseases. I'm not going to specify which ones, all of them. Every single one. It's the same process. And aging is potentially a disease. They're now starting to think of aging in terms of a disease. So that would be an interesting one. Obviously, it's working on me with my ECR, but there's more to it. Yeah, instantly healing all diseases. It's normal, it's natural, and it should be something. It's just something which needs to be switched on within us.
Do you believe that humanity will change and will be able to heal themselves?
We already can. Do the courses. You can learn to heal yourselves. Also, by the way, I should talk about my subscription service. I never talk about my subscription service. I've got this subscription service, which is frigging brilliant. And what we are doing is you get to, what's the code for the subscription service, Luz, to make it 50% off? There's a special code for it, if you can remember what it is. So basically, my subscription service has got four videos a month, 2 done by me and 2 done by my practitioners, and you have access to all the videos. This month we are doing 4 videos. We've got one which is being done by Vanessa on Sunday, which is about connecting to, I think it's to yourself. There's another one which I'm doing 2 next weekend. I'm doing one which is about discernment and like getting rid of lies that would have been told to us and glamoring throughout our system. And then there's a subscriber's choice. Subscriber's choice, which, you know, the audience gets to choose. And then Julia's doing one about connecting to trees. We've already got loads of videos, at least 20 within the archives, including money magic, how to manifest various different things, and financial abundance. We've got we've got, there's loads, then there's stress ones, there's anxiety, there's emotional healing, there's a sound bath. So you've got access to this huge library of amazing videos, as well as 4 live videos every single month for the bargain price of £55. But there is a deal going on to get your first month for 50% off, and we will have the information of that below for sure, and Luce will be finding it in a second. She's squirreling away to find that, but yeah, it's a super good thing. I think it's the thing is, at the moment it's not very well known because I've not spoken about it. I really need to publicize it a lot more, which means the classes are pretty small. And when you've got a really small class, what that means is that you get to really have one-to-one time with me, and I charge a hell of a lot of money for an hour. But in these classes, which are normally about 5 people or so, you actually get to talk to me, and you only get a dealer's choice. The only thing I don't do, or subscriber's choice, the only one I don't do is ECR, energetic cellular regeneration, because that one's a high ticket item. But I'll pretty much work on anything, and people come up with these different things every week, so I'll work on loads of different things. So right now it's a really good deal. When I have 1,000 people, it's not going to be such a, you know, it's going to be a fantastic deal because you've got this huge library, but the access that you get right now with this is pretty amazing. So yeah, we'll get it on the screen and just, oh, here we go. New subscription, usually 55. Use the code LOYAL50 for 50% off your first month. Visit divineempowerment.com, and then you get 50% off with the code LOYAL50. So yeah, there is a subscriber page there, and then you can join and get access to all these amazing pre-recorded videos, which you can just watch anytime. There's a huge library, and really bring up your wellness. So yeah, very good value that is at the moment. Okay, Codrina, what next?
I just want to tell that you didn't have this this service when I met you, and I think it is a very good idea with this of being a subscriber, because if people, they want to know you first, if they want to heal their traumas, I think it is the most intelligent first step they can do to heal their traumas, to see how you work, and then to go and buy your courses.
It's just
It
so
is
darn cheap. It's so cheap. And honestly, get through the videos. You can literally buy a month and then unsubscribe. You can unsubscribe at any time. Who cares? See if you like it. But I've got, as I said, Vanessa's doing a great video on Sunday. I'm doing 2 next weekend. I think it's well worth it. I think it's a fantastic deal.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And people are able to heal their traumas. And after, if they like it, they can be your healers like we are.
Yeah. But you're going to be, 1, miserable, and 2, sick unless you clear your traumas. So unless you invest in yourself, that's crazy. And this is what, £22.50. If you haven't got £22.50, get to work. Get to work, friends. You should be able to spend £22.50 without worrying about it too much. And that to be able to dissolve all your to dissolve a lot of your traumas and boost your wellness and boost your abundance and boost all these other things. You're crazy not to do it.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. Last question.
Okay. And it's just, are there any other questions? There's some in Romanian on our side as well. I can't. Is there anything there from Marta? What does that say?
Just a moment. They don't really say anything.
Bună
No,
seara.
That means good evening, beautiful souls.
Oh, okay, nice. Cute. All right. So, is that ask me another question or a final question.
The last question, and maybe we will talk more, and or I can, after I can read the update.
Oh, no, we did the Ashtar thing as well. Yeah, go and ask the last question. Then we want the Ashtar update. I want to know it.
Yes, you don't know it. What do you think? What do you think humanity is heading for nowadays?
Superheroes.
Really?
I think we're gods with amnesia, and I think all the abilities of superheroes are godlike abilities. Or you can think about the Greek gods, Roman gods. I think there'll be less wrath. What's really weird about the Hindu gods and the Greek Roman gods and even the Norse gods, or any gods I've researched, which is most of them, they all seem like assholes. That's what I find really, really strange. They seem to be vindictive and nasty and violent and aggressive. So the power's without the violence. And I think that they're using technology. I don't think you can be enlightened and really have wrath. I think that if someone's battling you, you can, I don't know. The thing is, what I do is when I'm battling these different things, instead of killing them and going on rampages, I just became a divine travel agent and teleport these beings to different dimensions to live out their lives in peace and harmony. I don't ever need to kill. So I don't understand why gods who are, more advanced than me, obviously, need to actually be such dickheads. So I think that the power's without the ego.
And without being aggressive.
Yeah. They don't seem to be very kind. Kindness doesn't seem to be a very big feature, and I think kindness is the most important thing.
Right.
Let's hear Ashtar's update then. Tell us what's happening.
Okay. Hello, dear people. I'm Ashtar, and I'm glad to be with you again today. This April is a very special month, and that's why I wanted to meet you and give you some wonderful news. It's a month which begins with very big changes that are great and beneficial to you all. And due to these changes, I can tell you that starting with this month, I can welcome you to a new frequency and connection. It is a very powerful month in which those of you who have worked on themselves and have released their traumas, these people will fly. A big part of you that have worked on yourselves and have released your traumas, you will connect to us in this month. You will connect to us in this month. You will come to the conclusion that you are multidimensional beings who have great manifesting powers. Starting with this month, a lot of you will be manifesting easily what you wish for. A lot of you will enter new timelines that are the most beneficial to you and the most appropriate to your vibration. A lot of you will establish many contacts with us. Not all of you are prepared. I want you to know that humanity is at a different vibration levels. You are all heading for something great and very bright, and we know that it's not easy for you. We know that you are going through periods of exhaustion and pain, periods in which you must end cycles of your life, and these actions are often done with a lot of pain and suffering, with regrets. And in this period, those who have to end cycles and take decisions for their lives, they may consider themselves unlucky. My advice is not to consider yourself victims. You have released a lot of karma and traumas, and it's time to fly so that all the gifts specific to multidimensional beings and specific to your vibration will be coming to you gradually, starting with this period. It is a wonderful time, although I know for sure that you don't see it like this. But I did this channeling especially to announce you and to declare you welcome to a new frequency, welcome to a better world in timelines that are more appropriate to your vibration and more appropriate to a multi-dimensional lifestyle. Many gifts will be activated for you. A lot of you will take big steps during this period. Your body will be exhausted and traumatized, but I want you to remember that everything is for your highest good and never lose faith. Even if you close painful cycles in your life, even if you feel that your body collapses because of so much pain and exhaustion, I want you to know that all these are signs of a very fast evolution and of timelines shifting. Everything is ready for you to evolve. The earth grid is already on a new frequency. You have a new grid. A lot of you work at night on the earth grid, and that's why some of you are tired. But starting with this month, I want to announce you that many of you will be flying. Many of you will change their lives. Wow, I'm becoming emotional. Many of you will, will get tremendous powers in order to become multidimensional beings. It is a difficult month, and the summer will be hot, but you'll start to see miracles in your own lives. The solar flash hasn't come yet. Nobody knows when this will happen, but what I can say is that we are getting closer to this solar flash. Expect miracles in your lives. Expect to receive amazing gifts and powers and become an example for those who follow you. I want you to remember my channeling every day, every time you find it difficult, because you have to take difficult and painful decisions mm, every time when you feel your body collapsing. I want you to know that this is happening because you are leaving an old world behind. in order to enter a new one, which will offer you infinite possibilities. That's enough for this month. I'll come back to you with new information for the month of May. Blessing, and once again, welcome to the new frequency.
Woo! Nice.
It was a long one, but this is how he wanted to be.
Yeah, nice. Cool.
Yes. So we are entering in something. From what I felt and saw, we are entering in something else. The people who have worked on with themselves can from now on can feel the results of their work. Of course, everybody on their vibration and according to the work they had, but it will be totally something else. We're gonna feel the energies much stronger, but we will be able to take decision and to see things in our life that we were not able to see until now, because we were not opened. We were full of traumas, and now they are helping us to become more multi-dimensional beings.
Fun.
Nice. Yes. Let's see what will be.
Wow. Okay. Woo! Anything else we need to discuss before we close, my dear? Or is that everything?
I think this is everything. We can ask on the comments if somebody wants to tell us something, and
Are there
then
any
we can.
questions anyone has before we finish? That was a really lovely update from Lord Ashtar. That was really fun. You're ready to fly, Erin. Me too. I know. When she said that, I was taking it literally. I was like, I'm
Yes, Erin, we're gonna fly.
well, I'm going to be flying over to you and seeing you in Mount Shasta, Erin. So yes, I'll be flying. But what have we taken? I want to hang out with Ashtar in the physical, Mian. Let's get physical.
Who knows? Who knows? You are going to Mount Shasta, and he loves the place. So who knows?
So, Catherine, I'm going to answer your question. All of my classes are pre-recorded online. So all you have to do is just sit back, relax, have a cup of tea, and watch videos. You watch videos, you get superpowers. Once again, if you'd like to do level 1, you just go to divineempowerment.com and then you can sign up for one of the courses there. I think we'll put the information below in the video anyway, but divineempowerment.com is where it is. And then if you want to go and do level 1, you just go to the classes page and then book level 1. And level 1, we have a special on at the moment, and it's normally £333, and it is now £75 with the code MAGIC. So yeah, just put magic in at the checkout and it goes from £333 to £75, and you learn magic. Learn how to instantly dissolve your traumas. So it's super easy, because the thing is, I work in so many different time zones. We've got people all over the world. We've got all our Australians and Canadians and, Brits and everywhere. And you just can't make a time zone work. I mean, as it is, people on the top level are brave, and you've got people who are starting at like, 8 o'clock at night and finishing at 3 o'clock in the morning, and people who are starting at 3 o'clock in the morning and finishing, like, I don't know, 8 or 10 or whatever it is. Yeah, it sucks. There's always people in the middle of the night. I try to keep the middle of the night even for them, and it's difficult, but they are diligent people who are really super into it, and they want to be doing the levels live, but it's just difficult to do that. Also, there's a time constraint to it, because I've only got, I was doing it and I was teaching it because everyone wants weekends, and I didn't have any weekends ever. I never had a weekend off when I was doing it like that, because I've got 14 levels. So and then people can't do it at times that suit them, and they're not always free on the weekends, and then it's a lot for me to download it every time, and I can't get on with other things. So it just makes sense for people literally to sit, chilling out, watching videos, and getting superpowers. It's the most easy, efficient way to be doing it. So that's what I do. So yes, you're in Florida. Nice. Cool. Yeah, then you definitely don't want to be on UK time zones. That will suck for you. Be in the middle of the night. Okay, cool. Well, thank you everyone for, oh, we've got Stephanie is saying, thank you, beautiful ladies. You were wonderful. Oh, so are you, Steph. Yes, thank you everyone for joining. If you do still have more traumas, please just rewind the video. Oh God, I'm sounding old. You don't have to rewind anymore, do you? Okay, just yeah, rewatch the video and fast forward to the bits. Fast forward, that's not it either, is it? Get to the bits that yeah, you can just watch the trauma bits if you don't want to watch the whole conversation. If you want to do the class, obviously you can use the code magic to get it for £75 rather than 323. If you want to do the subscription, I highly recommend that. And that, as I said, it is loyal 50 at the checkout, everything on divineempowerment.com. For 50% off that one. So I look forward to you guys enrolling and becoming wizards, because this is wizard school. This is the future of healing. This is where we're all going, and we are dissolving everything. We are like, this is just the most fun school, because why not? Why not make it fun? Why not? You know, I'm a wild stallion, and that's just it. And I don't think I'd be able to do this if I wasn't, you know, wild. You cannot be a pioneer without being touched by madness. I swear to God. So, you know, really, really fun, really, really playful. And playful is next to godliness. If you're not playful, you're rigid and you can't learn anything. So if you're like real awakening schools, the teacher needs to be super playful, because that's how you learn. You learn through play. And if you creativity and play are very, very similar. And if you can be playful, you can be creative, and then you can bring new stuff. The energy of creation is play. So if you were not playful, if you were very strict and stern, you cannot bring new creations into the world. So you will get playful, really fun, really, you know, exuberant people if they are the ones who are doing the work. So I look forward to you guys joining the ranks of divine empowerment. And thank you, Codrina, for asking me the hard questions.
Thank you for accepting this question. Thank you, Antonia.
And thank you everyone for watching. See you later, alligators.
Bye-bye.
Bye.